Yeah, we're talking about this barber who doesn't cut black hair, which seems normal to me.
Like the color or a black person's
Black
hair?
person's hair.
Okay.
It's two different schools of barbery. I always say. And I'm from the barbery.
It really is.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say not to defend the villain as a Jim and Them member, but it seems like giving a black guy a haircut is very, very different, but also like incredibly specific. Like there's this culture, sort of like
spending about 24 hours in jail. I talked with him. He says he's autistic. Doesn't always say things with the right words.
Now, does that change it at all? Does it?
How autistic is he?
does
Does
the-
he like play piano amazing?
I didn't know they said it in the video because I wanted to kind of go over it first before we got to that point. Because typically you see that headline, you're like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a fuck. And I know we were playing devil's advocate, but you would still, in the end, you'd be like, oh, I get it because black hair is different, but this guy's a piece of trash. But then when someone says, well, he's autistic, then you're like, well.
Especially if he says he's not good at saying things the right way. Maybe by does not cut black hair means I don't know how to cut black hair.
Yeah. Maybe he is just a supervillain and he's just saying, oh, I'm autistic. Ha-ha. Come at me with that one. Like he's
How old is this story? Because I feel like that would have come out by now.
It's only like a few days old, I think.
Okay, then there's not enough time always to know if a guy who's claiming to be autistic actually is.
Are you
playing
autistic?
like
I don't care. Being that guy faking is crazy.
And he says he picked up his gun
Who
because
cuts her hair?
he's the
Because
one
they're
who felt threatened.
terrible.
There's a certain skill set one needs to be a
Oh, he
barber.
pulled a gun on the
Larry
dude?
Thomas says he knows.
Yeah, I guess he pulled a fucking
yeah,
gun out.
Look him, he's autistic.
He does look. I mean, he looks a little fucked up. Although he just does look like it's an old white
But
guy.
and
Also.
I don't want to be I don't want to paint black people in a box, but no black person would go and get a haircut from this guy.
That's true.
Look at
I
that
think
guy.
that's very true.
No one would ever come get a fucking haircut from this guy. You're not Rick Rubin, the one white guy who looks like he shouldn't be there but 100% belongs. This guy ain't Rick Rubin.
And you know what? Like, not. It's bad enough being autistic, but never mind. Like, how old's this guy? Like late 50s, probably.
Yeah.
Think about he was autistic, but like years ago
When everyone was racist around him.
Well, but also it wasn't like they didn't call it autism; they just called him a fucking moron.
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, moron, what are you doing?
Yeah, hey,
Stop being
helmet.
an idiot."
Put
Yeah.
my dick in your mouth. Helmet. He's a kid.
They were just beating his fingers with rulers to
Yeah.
make him pay attention and not use his left hand to write or whatever the fuck.
His one autistic like savant thing is shooting black people. He's great at it. He's fucking incredible.
Like directly in the center of their forehead every time.
What he can and cannot do.
You know, white people wear flat tops. I don't cut flat tops. I no longer cut women's hair because I'm not good enough to cut women's hair anymore. And the only thing I do is I stick with my middle-aged group of men.
I'll just cut Mitch's hair.
I don't know.
And
Scott
so what is
Mitch.
this barber shop? It's just a house that has a sign on the side.
But Jim, haven't you ever been to Middle America? That's what businesses are. It's just someone's house.
Yeah, it's just Dallas.
All right. I mean, and I think this is kind of. I know we do defend the villain a lot, but I don't even feel like we'd be defending the villain here.
No, because even I stand behind even more so the fact that the
Well, after
black
you heard
guy
him
who went
talk-
to this guy's barber shop in
House.
the biggest quotes I've ever seen had no business being like, what? This man in his own home won't cut my hair because he's retarded and says he doesn't know how?
Well, his
I'm calling the police.
his hoverboard was running out of charge. You can't walk anywhere. Can I charge my hoverboard here?
Did you hear the way he talks? He doesn't cut women hair anymore. He doesn't do flat tops.
When he even
He
said,
doesn't-
I'm not good at it. He's like, yeah, I'm not good enough anymore. Like, I like that he's just like, he's like a McDonald's, just like, we don't sell burgers. We're bad at making
we're
those.
terrible
we
barber.
do fries. We're good at those. So you can get fries.
And honestly, this is probably just this is just when being kind to people that are handicapped just goes too far.
Whoa,
Yeah,
Jim,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
handy capable.
Yeah, like it's one
You
of
give
those.
them permits and shit
Actually,
to cut hair.
It was just one of those things where he was like, I want to be a barber. And they're like, well, you could be anything you want to be. And he's like, well, I want to be a barber. And they're like, you don't even have to go to barbershop school. We could just make a barbershop here. It's just that whole thing.
I don't
like,
like scissors, though.
all right.
I
that's
mean, whatever.
That's okay. You don't have to use scissors.
I'm just going to use 2 butter knives duct taped together.
You can
I
do
mean,
whatever you
if your
want.
customer base supports it, then clearly they're interested.
Hey, that's the beauty of capitalism.
Anyone who's if someone will give you money, you're instantly worth it.
But then everyone's just so polite, too. Like, all right, that's fine.
You want a high and tight? No, I was just thinking of trim. High and tight.
Here's-
All right. Whatever. He takes out sandpaper and starts rubbing your head. High and tight.
Afternoon, an African-American man walked into Thomas's barber shop to get a haircut.
Thomas's
And
barber
I told
house.
him that I did not do black hair. And he kept coming towards me. And I stepped back here, and I always keep a gun right here. And I
'Cause
just
I'm
picked up my
autistic,
gun
you
and
know.
put my gun at my side.
Thomas said he did
I
that.
put it in my
because
own mouth. Told him if he kept coming closer, he'd end my
I'll
life.
shoot.
The police would blame him by my logic.
he felt threatened. The customer left and called police. Deputies ended up
customer
arresting
left and
Thomas
called
for
Twitter.
pointing and
Hello, Twitter.
We need hashtags quick.
The customer created the emerging hashtag Black Hair Matters.
presenting firearms to a person. WBTV did some checking and found other cases involving Thomas flashing his weapon and refusing service. We begin in
Although I guess, all right. So now here goes the.
Is he brandishing his gun around town?
well, that's what I'm going to get into. All right. So we kind of will give him the benefit of the doubt of not being, I guess, PC or polite in his wording or whatever as far as being racial. But then also, I
But
guess
not even like that far. Like saying black hair isn't that crazy.
No. But no, I just mean, but then we got to start to ask questions. Okay, should this man have a barbershop? Should this man have a gun?
Yeah, should it have been as easy for him to obtain a gun as it clearly was?
Isn't being autistic and having a gun being like a drunk driver? Like you shouldn't mix the two.
Well, but I feel like we're at this point where if you did say that, well, I mean, gun nuts aside, like gun nuts, any question about a gun, they're gonna go
Yeah,
crazy.
Fourth Amendment, Jeff.
But then even just going the other side, just going to like how autism or isn't a dirty word. It's like, so what? So what if he's autistic? He can do anything you can do, and he can do it better. I bet. Like have a gun. His brain.
Look at him.
He's better at this gun than anyone. Anyone I've ever met. He shoots his gun more than anyone I've ever met. He's always got his gun.
April 2007, when Thomas told an Asian man that he didn't wish to provide service and asked the man to leave. When the
All right. Now we're getting kind of
Asian hair weird too.
this story.
No,
this
it's
is
just thick and great.
This is
No.
fucking. My fucking head's crazy with being ping pong back and forth
Well,
on whose
ping pong,
side.
settle down.
Yeah.
Whose side I should be
Racist.
on right now? Oh shit! Right. Damn. That's
Table
that's
tennising
chink in
around.
My,
Yeah,
that's a chink in my
Jim-
armor, Jeff.
Yeah, Jim, you meant being ching-chonged around. Right? Is that what you meant to say?
Yeah.
would-be customer didn't, Thomas told deputies he displayed his stun gun. In July 2007, an Hispanic man said
All
Thomas
right. Now we're getting kind of a.
Said he wasn't welcome and pulled out a full-size spear.
I don't cut Spanish hair.
We're starting to see.
Pulled out a French halberd and entered his suit of heavy plate armor.
We're starting to see a pattern here.
told him he wasn't welcome. That same month, about 3 weeks later, Thomas told
Clean your
deputies a white
utensils.
woman cursed at him because he told her he didn't cut young children's hair.
Although there we go, the white woman's the saving grace.
Yeah.
This guy cuts only fucking 3 people's hair.
You know, be interesting.
This is just the eBay store from 40-Year-Old Virgin, where they walk in and like, yeah, I want to buy this, and he's like, okay, well, here's the eBay listing.
Yeah.
Like, no, but I just
No,
want to
you
give
have
you
to buy it on
cash. He's like,
eBay.
no, you can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He has a silly business with wacky rules, and I'm
He's
sorry
the soup
that,
Nazi.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that his weird barber shop from the fucking fourth dimension isn't good enough for you.
But that's why
those are his
everyone-
rules.
This is why everyone wants to go there.
Yeah,
because
everyone
Who
wants to
keeps
go
walking through his neighborhood and seeing his barber shop?
3 more reports in 2007, 2008, and 2009 all show Thomas got into disagreements with customers.
One a
I've had
year.
some white
That's a
people get-
spectacular track record. Can you imagine
Let's
if you
got
had a
into
Yelp
dis-
account that only got one star review
Well-
a year and all the other ones were 5s?
He only
it's
gets
a-
4
it's a-
customers a year.
But these are these reviews or are these police reports though? Are these,
One police
Still,
report a year.
Only one police report a
Imagine
year.
having a barber shop without 7 police reports.
And it's just because people are crazy.
Agreements with customers.
I've had some white people get mad at me before.
But Thomas
Because I'm crazy. They said, don't put lizards in my ears.
said he's still trying to figure out why the African American man got so upset.
Being an autistic individual also, I pretty much stick to
Is
my
you?
routines.
Thomas says he has to head
Actually,
back to
that's a good
court
point.
in the
Isn't
summer.
that super important to autistic people, like having a very firm structure in place and
Yeah,
not
but-
straying far from the path and familiarity
Wow, way to
really,
put
really
autistic
helps.
people in a box. They can do anything and everything.
But then that's like saying like no new customers because I only have my regulars or whatever. It's like at that point,
No
like
new
don't have a
friends.
business.
Hey, it's his business.
Yeah, that's true.
No soup for you, Jim.
Yeah.